Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschantya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Simharupine Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshaveti Namine Atimartya Charichaya Svashitanam Chapaline Jivaduke Siddharthaya Srinama Premadayine Gaurashaya Vigrahaya Krishna Kamaika Charine Rupanuga Pravaraya Vinodeti Swarupine Prabhupadantarang Tangaya Sarva Sadguna Saline Mayavada Tamognaya Vidantartavade Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapasadanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaurakishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vidodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhumistvam Nirjesta Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mama Vedanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Jayatam Surati Upangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasya Parambojo Radha Madana Mohana Divyadvindaranya Kalpajumadaha Srivad Radnagara Samhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtalavi Sevya Mamano Smarami Shriman Rasada Sarambi Vamsi Vata Tatastitaha Karshan Menu Swanir Gopir Gopinata Shrestanaha Vrindaya Tulsidevaya Priyaya Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Paradevi Sachavataya Namo Namaha Panchatatmatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhakta Kyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Page 23. Krishna hoite chaturmukha hoya Krishna sevan mukha Brahma hoite Naraderamati Narada hoite Vyasa Madhvakahe Vyasa Dasa Pona Pragya Padmana Bhagati Narhari Madhava Hamse Akshobhya Paramahamse Shisha Boli Ange Kare Kare Akshobhya Shishya Jaya Tirtanami Parichaya Taradase Jnana Sindhu Tari Tahaite Dayanidhi Taradasa Vidyanidhi Rajendra Yilo Tate Tahara Kinkar Parajaya Dharmanami Parijaya Parampara Janamalamate Jaya Dharma Dase Kyati Shri Purushottama Jati Tate Brahmanya Tirtha Sori Vyasa Tirtha Tara Dasa Lakshmi Pati Vyasa Dasa Tate Madhavendra Puri Madhavendra Puri Vada Shishya Vira Shishwara Nityananda Shri Advaita Vibhu Ishvara Kori Kedanya Kori Lenya Shri Chaitanya Jagaguru Gaura Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu Shri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya Rupanuga Janera Jivana Vishwambara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana Rupa Priya Mahajana Jiva Raghunatana Tada Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa Krishna Dasa Priya Vara Narottama Seva Para Chara Para Vishwanatha Sa Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tada Priya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gora Kishora Vara Hari Bhajani Te Jara Mora Shri Varsabhana Vivara Sara Sevya Seva Tara Deita Dasanama Prabhupada Antaranga Shri Sarupa Rupanuga Shri Keshava Bhakti Pragyana Gauriya Vedanta Veta Maya Bharatamo Gauravani Prachara Chadama Pracharilo Gauravani Bhakti Vedanta Swami Parailo Prabhupada Kama Kesha Priya Mahajana Vamana Narayana Gauravani Tare Pranadhana E Sabahari Jan Gaurangera Nija Jan Tadera Ushiste Murakama Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Parampara Guru Parampara
Wait, the little, the one with the little orange around it?
Why I saw it somewhere. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. Page 36. Vrindavanavasi jato Vaishnavera Pratame Vandana Kori Sabaracharana Nilachalavasi jato Mahaprabhurgana Bhumite Padiyavando Savaracharana Navadvipavasi jato Mahaprabhurgata Savaracharana Vando Oyanurata Mahaprabhu Bhakta Jato Gaudadeshe Sthite Savaracharana Vando Moniya Ganati Dede se Vaise Korangera Gana Urvabahu Kori Vando Savara Charana Hoya Chena Hoya Aparatudasa Savara Charana Vando Dante Korigasa Brahmanda Tarite Shakti Dare Jane Jane Eveda Purane Guna Gaye Vasune Mahaprabhu Gana Sava Patita Pavana Tailo Vimoy Papilo Inusharana Vandana Karite Moy Kato Shakti Dori Tamo Bhuri Dhoshe Moy Dhamba Machakori Tatati Makera Bhagya Manera Ulasa Tosakshami Moadame Karoni Jadasa Sarva Vanche Siddhi Hoya Amabhanda Chute Jagate Dorlava Hoya Prema Dhana Lute Manera Vasana Puna Achirate Hoya Devaki Nandana Dasa Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Page 200. Prabhu. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivedoya Kori Swapasara Swiyadama Savatari Ajanta Dolabha Prema Kori Varirana Sikaya Saranagati Pakatera Tanya Atmani Vedana Kopchit Pevarana Avasya Rakshi Krishna Vishwasapala Bhakti Anukula Macha Kayera Svikara Bhakti Pratikura Saraga Saranagati Oi Vedara Tara Pratana Suni Shinanda Kumara Rupa Sanatana Pade Tante Chena Kori Pakati Vinora Pare Topharadori Kariya Kariya Bole Amito Vadama Sekaye Saranagati Harave Jaya Sarpasara Jaya Gaurahari Sarpasara Jaya Gaurahari Jaya Sarpasara Jaya Gaurahari Sara Jaya Gaurahari Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan Jaya Rupa Sanatan
Shri Hari Basare Hari Kirtana Bidana Nityaya Rambila Prabhu Jagatera Prana Purna Banda Shivasaya Ganeshu Baramba Uthila Kirtana Dhvani Gopala Govinda Mridanga Mandira Baje Shankakaratala Kirtana Sangha Sava Hailo Mishala Brahmanda Bedilo Dvani Puriyaya Kasha Chodikere Amangala Jaya Shavanasha Ushakala Hoite Nitya Kare Visham Vara Juta Juta Hoilo Jato Gayana Sundara Shivasa Pandita Laya Eka Sampradaya Mukundalaya Yaro Janakata Gaya Loya Govinda Gosha Arakato Jana Gaura Chandra Nitya Sabe Korena Kirtana Doriya Bolena Nitya Nanda Mahabali Alakshite Advaitala Yena Padaduli Gadadharayadi Jato Sajalanayane Anande Vivala Hoilo Prabhura Kirtane Jakhona Udanda Nache Prabhu Vishambara Pritikambita Hoya Sabe Payadara Kakhana Madhura Nachaye Vishambara Jeno Dekhi Nandera Nandena Natavara Aparupa Krishna Vishe Aparupa Nitya Anande Nayana Bodhi Deke Sabe Vritya Nijanandana Che Maha Prabhu Vishambara Charanera Tala Shuni Ati Manohara भव भरे माला नहीं रहेगा लाया, चिंदिया पदाया गया भक्त तेरा पाया। चतुर्थी के श्री हरि मंगल संकीर्तना, माझे नाचे जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदना। जार नामानंदे शिवा वासना न जाने, जारे जाजे नाचे शिवा से नाचे आपा। जार नामे वाल्मीकि पैल तपदाना, जार नामे अजामिल पाइल मोचाना। जार नाम शबान सरबंध गुचे, हेनो प्रभु अवतारी कलियुग नाचे। जार नाम गाय सुख नारद वेदाय, सहस्रवदना प्रिय प्रभु जर गुण गाय। सर्व महाप्रयासित जे प्रभु नाम, से प्रभु नाचाए देखे जतो भाग्यवान। प्रभु रयानंद देखी भागवत गाना, अन्योन्ये गला दोरी करे क्रंदना। शबर अंगे ते शोभे श्री चंदन माला, आनंद गायने कृष्ण रस होई बोला। जाते के वैष्णव शव कीर्तनय वेश, जाचे अपन देह अन्य जन की से। जय कृष्ण मुरारी मुकुंद वनमाली, अहर्निश गाय शब होई कुतूहली। अहर्निश भक्त संग नाचे विश्वम्बर, शांति नहीं करे सब सत्व कलेवार। ए माता नाचे महाप्रभु विश्वम्बर, निशि अवशेष मात्रा से एक प्रहार। ए माता आनंद होय नवदीप पूरे, ए सकल पुण्य कथ जे करे श्रवण। भक्त संगे गौर चंद्र रहु तरमान, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद चर जान। दासी तचु पद जुगै गाना, श्री हरि बसरे हरि कीर्तन विधान। नित्य रमिला प्रभु जगतेरा, जय सपर्षदा जय गौर हरि, सपर्षदा जय गौर हरि। जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि, सचिनंदन जय गौर हरि।
Haridas.
Shuddha Bhakata Charanurenu Bhajana Anukula Bhakatan Seva Paramasidhi Prema Nati Karumula Madhavatiti Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori Titi Bhakti Janani Krishna Vasati Vasati Boli Parama Adare Bari Gora Amare Javastane Karalo Brahmanarange Se Sabastana Herivo Ami Pranai Bhakata Sange Ridamdavadya Shunite Mana Avasara Sadajaje Gaura Vihito Kirtana Shuni Anande Hridaya Nache Yugalamurti Deki Amora Purama Ananda Hoya Prasada Seva Korite Hoya Sakala Prapancha Jaya Yedina Grihe Bhajana Deki Grihete Golokam Bhaya Charana Sidhu Deki Ganga Sukana Simha Paya Tulasi Deki Judaya Prana Madhavato Shani Jane Gaura Priya Saka Sevane Jivana Sartakamani Bhakati Vina Krishna Bhajane It looks okay on the phone, it just doesn't look right on the computer. Prakiti Vina Krishna Bhajane Anukula Payanja Prati Divase Paramasuke Svikara kodo letaha. Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajana Anukula. Bhakata Seva Parama Siddhi Prema Latikada Mula. Jaya Ekadasi Jaya Madhavati Ekadasi Jaya Madhavati. Tell me what happened yesterday.
They're going really well. I really, yeah, since I started rapping like this, they just go out really nicely, honestly. And it's not too big, so people, they're taking it. And, yeah, I mean, I'm doing about 25 to 30 of these a day, and people are giving the right donations. I asked for 20, but many people are giving 15, 20. It's going really well by your blessings, and I meet really good people. I think like that Taiwanese girl that came the other day. I don't know if you met her, but she came for the Friday night kirtan. She got a stack from me, and I'm actually meeting a lot of locals, and I think there's going to be a lot of people showing up. I've been going to South Beach every day. Yeah, it's going by your blessings. Having a really nice time.
Yeah, I rap stacks, but I'm not as good as Babaru. And I'm gonna go with Dr. Om one day. No, but to learn from him about how he approaches, observe his techniques, and refine my technique. Do you rap?
Yeah, Babu Prabhu is helped me refine my technique here because things have changed a little bit from what I'm accustomed to. So it's just been a really great experience. Yeah, all glories to Babu Prabhu.
देखिते देखिते বলিব কবে নিজাষ্টুলা পরিচয় নয়নে হেরিব ব্রজপুর শোভা Nitya Chidanandamoy. Nitya Chidanandamoy. Nitya Chidanandamoy. Nijashtula Parichay. Vishabhanupure janamaloibo jabate vivahabe braja gopi bhav bhaibe sabhav anubhavana rohibe. Nija siddha deha nija siddhanam nija rupa savasan Radha kripa bole labhi bhava kave Krishna prema prakaran. Krishna prema prakaran Krishna prema prakaran Nija rupa savasan. Yamuna Shaila harane giya bhujiva yugala rasa prema mugdha hoye pagalini pray gai Radha rajasha. Gai Radha rajasha Gai Radha rajasha Bhujiva yugala rasa. देखिते देखिते बोले बाबा कवि निजाष्टुला परिचाय नयन हेरिब प्रजपुरा शोभा नित्य चिदानंदमय. जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Raman Bihari Radha Raman Bihari Radhe. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Would it be okay if I wrapped slightly smaller stacks, more like what Babaru does? Babaru, do you want to put some
Yeah, I want to. Is there a reason why I should these are very like specific, is because because of the thickness of them,
Yeah.
very thick, so people perceive a very high value in them. I was doing a lot of the small books for Maharaj, and people just were, they're very thin, like three of them equal one of them, almost. So what I do now is I keep the side bag with Maharaj's books in the side bag. So when people want to give 5 or something, then I pull out those options, and then I say, you want to just take one of these.
Great. And then they take.
Yeah, they take
Great. Smart. Where were you doing the bhajans? Cutting. In the kitchen. Okay. Agyanam timirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksuranmilitam yena Rave Namah Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Twadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah Yam Pravajantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruajuhava. Is anybody else chanting? Pudreti Tanmayataya Taravo Benedus Tang Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Chiptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavaivasmi Najivami tam vina iti vigyaya radhe tam nayamam charanantike. Kripayati yadi radha padita sheshabadha kimaparavashishtam pushtimayadayorme yadi vadati chakinshit smera soditashir Dvijavaramani Pantya Mukti Shuktya Tadakim Shama Sundara Sikanda Shekhar Smera Samurali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanite Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Prananatha Vrishabhanu Nandini Sri Makajara Satapada Radhika Padatale Kritastitim Tam Bhajami Rasikendra Shekhar Sambadaya Dashanetrinam Vibho Prartaye Brajabahendra Nandan Astu Mohan Tavati Bhalava Janma Janmani Madhisvari Priya. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Dikshi Gurudev, Nityalila Bhavishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev, Nityalila Bhavishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. To our Param Gurudevs, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, and to all the assembled devotees, and to all the assembled devotees. Diksha Gurus who are my Shiksha Guru, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Pan Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj. Today is the holy day of Ekadasi. Where are the other devotees? Say that again? Oh, in that event? Nice. And who's in the kitchen? Oh, I see. You were the kitchen and you made Ekadasi preps. Okay. Yes. So, like you've heard of Ekadasi Bhavs, the 11 moods that the Guru gives the disciple when he's coming to the point of Bhava Bhakti. And so he gives Ekadas Bhavs, like, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? False. Our real name is what our name is in the spiritual world. And anyway, it's not Sankirtan Bihari, it's Sankirtan Bihari Das. But even that is not the name of your soul. Okay. Gurudev once did that to Ashram Maharaj when he was Govinda Bhakta. What's your name? No. Then he said, Govinda Bhakta, and the Gurudev said, what? He said, oh, Govinda Bhakta Das. No. Is that the name of your soul? So, Ekadasi, so what's your name? What's your form? What's your dress? What's your service? What your what's your inclination? Where do you live? And what's your age? So there are 11 bhavs, Ekadasi. So this is Ekadasi, which means it's celebrated on the 11th day of the full moon and 11th day of the new moon. In just everyday life, we see that from that day to the full moon, the waves in the ocean, perhaps you've seen that since we're in Miami, the waves in the ocean rise because it's going towards the moon. Similarly, on that day, the liquids in the body rise and go towards the moon. So if we eat grains and foods made with grains, then it acts like a bladder, and it holds the liquid, the waters, and other things, so that the body becomes stuck and it gets sick. Srila Gurudev explained that in the hospitals, most people die on those days, from the Ekadasi day to the full moon and the new moon. So that's for health. He also explained that there are microscopic insects in the body, as you know, bacteria and other little ones. And they don't get a rest if you keep eating. And so they get sick, so you get sick. Another one is, he gave the example of work, people who work in the world. Everybody gets a day off so that they can recuperate, otherwise they can't continue. Then on another level, I wonder if you can get the first canto, perhaps the 17th chapter, in relation to Prabhupada speaking about the importance of not eating grains on Ekadasi. Very interesting there. So in Jagannath Puri, the Pandavas, who sell the Rath Yatra, Jagannath Prasad, those sweet crackers, and they don't want to lose their business of having people not buy them on Ekadasi. So they want to hang, this is Gurudev's words, they want to hang Ekadasi Devi upside down on a tree. So they figure that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take our grains on Ekadasi, then surely all of his hundreds of thousands of devotees will make our money. So they offered the prasada to Mahaprabhu, and he offered obeisances to it. And then he started singing kirtan, including the verse Mahaprasade Govindena Maharani Vaishnave and other glorifications. He began chanting with his devotees all night. And then when it became parting time in the morning, then he did his, at that moment, between that time and that time. Sometimes parting time is only 25 minutes. I remember it sometimes on an engagement, like we were with him at some Hindu temple. He made an announcement at the end that you have only 25 minutes tomorrow. So parent time is so important to break the fast, depending on what you did on the Ekadasi day. Like if you took nothing, then you break it with fruit or water. If you took water, then break it with fruit, vegetables, and it's only one grain. And if you've taken fruits and vegetables that day, then definitely take grains the next day. And if we miss the timing, fortunately here in Miami, Vasanti puts a grain in everyone's mouth at the right time. If we miss the parent time, we lose the whole austerity of Ekadasi. So that's very important. I think you all know the history of Ambrish Maharaj. Do you know that Gurudev gave the example because what's his name? Maharaj Ambrish was considering that if I offend the Brahmin by eating before him, before he comes back, then he'll curse me and I'll go to hell. And if I respect him and offend Ekadasi, then I'll always be in Vaikuntha, even if I'm in hell. That makes sense. That makes sense. So suppose he offends Durvasa Muni by eating in order to observe the parent time. Then I'll go to hell for offending Brahmana. If I respect him and offend Ekadasi, then I'll lose my bhakti. If I lose my bhakti, even if I'm in heaven, I'll be in hell. If I am in hell, but I have my bhakti, then I'll be in Vaikuntha, so it doesn't matter. So he decided to observe Paran. He had full Nirjal Ekadasi. And so he asked the Brahmins what to do because the king is supposed to be guided by the Brahmin class. So he asked the Brahmins what to do, and they said, if you take water, it's still, you get the benefit of fasting. even though it's taking something. But
Durvasa
Muni didn't agree with that. He
He
only took water. And that water was the
the
Charanamrita.
Charanamrita.
Do you
Do you
know
know
that
that
Durvasa
Durvasa
Muni,
Muni,
when he
when
was
he was
being
being
chased
chased
by
by
the
the
Sudarshan
Sudarshan
chakra,
chakra,
he
he
even went up to
to
the
the
local
local
or
or
the
the
Vaikuntha
Vaikuntha
planet
planet
in
in
this
this
world.
world.
Do you know
Do you
the
know the
name
name
of
of
it?
it?
Rama
Rama
Priya
Priya
Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha.
The
The
Milk
Milk
Ocean
Ocean
is
is
in
in
Swetadweep.
Swetadweep.
Sweta
Sweta
means
means
white
white
milk.
milk.
But
But
the
the
Vaikuntha
Vaikuntha
planet
planet
with
with
Lakshmi
Lakshmi and
Narayan
Narayan
there,
there,
that
that
is
is
Rama
Rama
Priya
Priya
Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha.
So
So
he
he
went
went
for
for
Lord
Lord
Vishnu
Vishnu
to
to
save
save
him
him
from
from
the
the
Sudarshan
Sudarshan
chakra.
chakra.
And
And
Lord
Lord
Narayan
Narayan
said,
said,
how
how
can I
can I
save
save
you?
you?
Because
Because
I'm
I'm
in
in
the
the
heart of
heart
my
of my
devotee.
devotee.
And
And
if
if
you
uh,
you
you
tried to
to
kill
kill
my
my
devotee,
devotee,
I
I
consider
consider
that
that
you
you've
tried
tried
to
to
kill
kill
me.
me.
Why
Why
should
should
I
I
save
save
you?
you?
And you
And you
also
also
don't
don't
know,
know,
this is
this
all
is all
described
described
in the
in the
ninth
ninth
canto
canto
of
of
Srimad
Srimad
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
You
You
also
also
don't
don't
know
know
that
that
if a
if a
person's
person's
austerities
austerities
gives him
gives him
some
some
power,
power,
then
then
he
he
misuses the
misuses the
power
power
to
to
offend the
offend a
devotee,
devotee,
then it
then it
goes
goes
back to
back to
him,
him,
and he
and
has
he
to
has to
suffer.
suffer.
So
So
he
he
gave
gave
many
many
lessons.
lessons.
No, I
No, I
can't
can't
save you.
save you.
Only
Only
Maharaj
Maharaj
Ambarish can
Ambarish can
save you.
save you.
What
What was
Maharaj
Maharaj
Ambarish
Ambarish
doing
that whole year
that
that it took for
Sudarshan
Sudarshan
chakra
chakra
to
to
chase
um,
to
to
chase
chase
Durvasa
Durvasa
all
all
over
over
the
the
universe?
universe?
What
What
was
was
he
he
doing?
doing?
He was
He was
fasting
fasting
and
and
Repenting.
repenting
repenting
and
and
Praying
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 for
for
what?
what?
for forgiveness. I don't want to speculate.
He was
He was
praying
praying
that
that
Sudarshan
Sudarshan
chakra
chakra
stop,
stop,
Okay, that was.
cool
cool
down,
down,
uh, and
and
he
he
was
was
praying
praying
for
for
Durvasa
Durvasa
Muni,
Muni.
and he
And he
prayed
prayed
that
that if I have done
any pious
pious
activities,
activities,
spiritual pious activities, then
then
please
please
cool
cool
down
down
and
and
don't
don't
hurt
hurt
him.
him.
Why
Why
is
is
it?
it?
Because
Because
sometimes when
sometimes when
Krishna
Krishna
releases
releases
his
his
chakra,
chakra,
how
how
long does
long
it
does it
take to
take to
chop
chop
off
off
somebody's
somebody's
head?
head?
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
an
an
instant.
instant.
So
So
why,
why,
after
after
1
1
year,
year,
was the
was the
chakra
chakra
still
still
pursuing
pursuing
Durvasa?
Durvasa?
Janardhan?
Janardhan?
Because Maharaj Ambarish was praying on his behalf, Durvasamuni's behalf.
So
So
Janardhan
Janardhan
said
said
it's
it's
because
because
Ambarish
Ambarish
Maharaj was
was
praying
praying
on his behalf.
behalf.
Well,
Well,
that's
that's
interesting.
interesting.
So
So
Gurudev
Gurudev
explained
explained
that
that because
Durvasa
Durvasa
Muni
Muni
was
was
actually a pure devotee,
and
and
he.
no, but
No, but
that's
that's
very
very
interesting
interesting
because
because
Krishna was
Krishna was
ready to kill Kaliya.
Kaliya.
All
All
the
the
blood
blood
was
was
coming out of his
mouth
instead
instead
of
of
the
the
fire
fire
that was
which was
coming
coming
out
out
before.
before.
But
But because
his
his
wives were
were
praying
praying
for
for
him,
him,
then
then
Krishna
Krishna
forgave him and
and
blessed
blessed
him.
him.
But
But
in this
in this
case
case
of
of
Durvasa,
Durvasa,
I mean,
I mean,
both
both
things were
things were
going
going
on
on
simultaneously.
simultaneously.
So
So
because he was actually a pure devotee,
devotee,
then
then
if he
if
was
he
a
was a
pure
pure
devotee,
devotee,
why
why
would
would
he
he
go
go
like
like
that
that
with
with
his
his
dreadlocks
dreadlocks
and
and
have
have
that
that
dreadlock
dreadlock
turn into a female demon, fire
fire
demon,
demon,
that was
that
going
was
to
going to
burn
burn
Ambarish
Ambarish
Maharaj
Maharaj
to
to
ashes?
ashes?
Why
Why
did
did
he
you
do
do
that?
that?
For the sake of pastime.
Yes,
Yes,
for
for
the
the
sake of pastime, because he
he
wanted to
wanted to
show
show
the
the
glory
glory
of
of
Ekadasi
Ekadasi
and
and the glory of Maharaj
Amrish. And then when, just like Lord Shiva, he was telling the Srimad Bhagavatam, he found it.
I don't know. I only found 2 points that it mentions, and they're very brief.
Okay.
Like Prabhupada says in the 17th chapter. I looked in the folio too.
Oh,
I couldn't find anything where he's really talking on it. He just
Where?
mentions this is that the Vaishyas are meant for cow protection.
no,
No,
this is about Ekadasi.
Yes,
And
I
grains. Look up grains, Ekadasi,
Ekadasi,
I looked in the folio of the first canto.
grains,
Ekadasi.
Ekadasi.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
surprised.
surprised.
Where
Where were we?
Maran Ambrinidesh.
For the sake of pastime and glorifying.
Right,
Just like Lord Shiva.
Otherwise, without understanding the real truth, it would be very bewildering. Lord Shiva was telling Parvati, Srimad Bhagavatam, and she was going, yes, good, continue. And then she fell asleep in this fifth canto that we're reading about time from the atom and all those kind of things. So Sukadeva, because he was ordered by Radha and Krishna to preach their glories, he thought he wants to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he sat on a branch, and as you know, parrots can imitate people's voices. So since she fell asleep and he wanted to hear more till the end, he said in her voice, yes, good, continue. And then when she woke up at the exciting 10th canto parts, pastime parts, and she said, oh, what happened? He said, you were, I fell asleep. And he said, no, you didn't, you kept saying, continue, very good. She said, no, I didn't. So then who did? So they looked around, and Lord Shiva found the parrot. And he said, no one who's unqualified can hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so he thought, I'll kill this parrot. And he took up his trident and chased the parrot. The parrot flew away. And that's when he went into the cottage of Vyasdev, who was telling Bhagavatam to his wife. And he flew into her mouth and into her womb. And then came out as Sukadeva Goswami. So anyways, before that, when he flew into the mouth, Lord Shiva told Vyasdev, did you see that bird? I wanted to kill him because, why did you want to kill him? Well, because he was unqualified and he was listening to the Bhagavatam. Well, what happens to somebody who listens to the Bhagavatam? Well, he becomes immortal. Well, then how can you kill him? But that was just a pastime, same thing. So here, Ekadasi Muni wanted to glorify Maharaj Ambrish and Ekadasi. And when he went back on Vishnu's order, he went back to Maharaj Ambrish and begged forgiveness while Maharaj Ambrish was praying. And in Prabhupada's words, Maharaj Ambrish said, oh yes, take all my pious the results of all my pious activities and be delivered. Just see the what's the word? Revengeful nature of the pure devotee. And so he became so happy and he glorified Ekadasi Rasa and went off into the skyways, glorifying Ambrish and Ekadasi.
I can't find anything in the folio under Ekadasi in the first canto.
In first canto? Amazing. Can I try? Not in the folio, but
In the book.
just flipping.
Yeah.
Because what he did say was the government would save so much money. It's not around that place where it talks about milk. Nothing with grains. Nothing with fast.
No, like nothing.
Amazing. Well, I'll just look forward today, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. Let's see. Then there's another history. Oh yes, when Maharaj Ambrish was considering. All right, here's one for you to find. A few days ago, Gurudev gave a little 2-minute clip. It's your son, or
Oh yeah.
yeah, okay. He reads them every day and hears them. So he said it was a similar situation when Gurudev was approached by one of his lady disciple, and she said, "Oh, my son, he was diagnosed with a terminal disease. Please save my son." And I don't want to miss it up unless there were 2 stories, because I heard it, at that time when he said it in a little bit different way from translator. She said, Gurudev said, "Well, you have it."
Finding it, gotta go back a few days ago.
Yeah, a lot happens.
Yeah, would you choose your son or Krishna Prema?
Okay, I want to say it so that they can hear it in the mic. Is it in English or?
English subtitles.
Okay. A boy was sick.
When you want to read it.
I'll read it. A boy was sick. He was on his deathbed in the hospital, just about to die. Seeing him, his mother became completely insane. I went there to see him and saw that the boy was about to die. Anyway, and she too was becoming mad. I said that you are becoming so restless. If the Supreme Lord appears and says to you, "I am taking the child, you stay here, and in exchange, if you want Prema Bhakti, then I shall award that to you. But I have to take the child with me." Then what will you do? Gurudev is asking. What will you ask for? Would you like to take Prema Bhakti or the son? She said, "I would like to have my son back. Just see, such is this Maya, Lord's illusory potency. The condition of mostly everyone, except 1 or 2, is like this. We are not able to understand how rare Krishna Prema is. In reality, the boy will not die. He will only undergo a transition into another body. But the opportunity to attain Krishna Prema had presented itself, and now that too is lost." So he gave this analogy, Gurudev, in relation to Maharaj Ambrish considering, what should I do? Offend Ekadasi or offend the Brahmana? Then Gurudev just adds, "The sun will be gone anyway, either today or tomorrow. But people do not understand this. So we face such difficulties while practicing devotion. We become so absorbed in gratifying our senses that we fail to acknowledge and realize the greatness of Krishna Prema." Okay, that's good. Then there's another history, the history of Chitranga Maharaj, and he had a son. Wait a minute, gotta make sure I'm on time. And he had a son named Rukmanga. I forget his wife's name. And he was very Krishna conscious. And whenever it was like the day before Ekadasi, he would send out a message, like over here. He would send out a message to his whole entire kingdom that tomorrow is Ekadasi and everyone has to observe it. So then gradually the king became older, and then it was time for him to take the renounced order of life and then leave his son as the crown prince next in line. So he went to the forest to perform austerities. Does anybody know what happened then?
Is this he meets the beautiful woman.
Yeah, this beautiful young lady. And she's passing by in the forest very provocatively. And so he said, "Oh, what's your name?" She said, "My name is Mohini." You know what Mohini means?
Enchantress.
Enchantress. My name is Mohini. And what are you doing here? I'm looking for a husband. And you look like the perfect husband. And he said, "Okay." So he married her and went back to his palace.
Did he have to make a promise to her?
Yes, he had to make a promise. That what? Whatever I say goes. And you know a man in love or a woman in love, nothing's going to go wrong. So they went back, and his wife was such his real wife was such a saintly person that when he came back with his new wife, she and her son did arti to them to welcome them. And things were going on okay until Ekadasi came by. And she said, "Ekadasi? You can't do Ekadasi. That's for weak people. You have to be a strong king. Forget it." He said, "No, I have to do Ekadasi. And my whole kingdom has to do Ekadasi. Ridiculous. You can ask the Brahmins, they're your guide." And then she bribed them. So the Brahmin said the same thing she did. And she said, he said, "I'm doing Ekadasi anyway. I don't care what these Brahmins say." So she said, "Okay, then I'm leaving." He said, "Then leave." But then his wife and son, who knew that this wife pleased him so much, they told her, "No, please don't leave. We'll do anything." She said, "Okay, you can observe Ekadasi, but I'll have to take the head of your son." So they said, "No way." Father said, "No way." The son said, "Yes, I want to do it. I want to do it so that Ekadasi can be observed. I'm happy to die for Ekadasi." So after his convincing, finally they agreed. And they were just about to cut his head when all of a sudden, what happened?
Ekadasi Devi herself showed up.
Lord Brahma showed up and said, "Stop. This was all my doing. I created her. I created this Mohini, this illusion, just to test you, to see how much faith you have in Ekadasi. And you passed the test." I might have gotten a couple of details wrong, but it's basically the right one. So for Ekadasi, Gurudev said, is more important than Janmashtami. It's that important. And he said, Ekadasi day is not a day. It's Krishna himself. So like if you look around, you'll think, "Oh, this is a day." But it's not. Everywhere it's Krishna himself. So it's extremely auspicious, important day. Are there any questions?
No comment.
Huh?
Comment.
Okay.
You also mentioned once when
You also mentioned to me once that not following Ekadasi is equivalent to killing your mother and your guru, right?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I'm trying to remember. I think that's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can you find that in Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Okay.
And then it also says there that if you don't follow Ekadasi, even if you go to Vaikuntha, you'll fall down. Now, no one falls down from Vaikuntha, but this is just to show the importance of Ekadasi. So therefore it's stated like that. Yes?
We hear that Shukadeva Goswami, he was the parent of Radharani. Also, they say that he was like attracted to.
Well, I have an answer for you, by the way.
He was attracted to nothing. He was like self-satisfied, and then he heard the Bhagavatam and became attracted, right? Something like that. Shukadeva Goswami was into being satisfied, and then only after hearing Bhagavatam was he attracted to something other than Brahman, I think. And if that's the case, how do we reconcile that and the fact that he was rather his parrot before? Because I feel like if he was the parrot, then he wouldn't be like a self-satisfied yogi
Yeah.
before.
It's another pastime. He played like that to show that even Maya body can be purified by Srimad Bhagavatam. When his thought, he was in the womb for some say 16, some say 12 years, but either way, he was there for a long time. And Vyasadeva told him, why do you want to cause suffering to your mother? Come out. And he said, no, I'm not coming out because Maya is out there. He said, no, you won't be in Maya if you come out. So he didn't believe his father. He said, okay, I'll get Krishna. And Krishna appeared from Dwarka. And he said, you won't fall down and take me to Krishna. So he came out and immediately left home. And that's when he left and is without performing any purifying sacrifices. He just left and his father went after him. Oh my son, and only the trees echoed in response to the aggrieved father. So it's all a pastime.
One question I had was, because I've had people actually ask me this question.
Who?
I've had people ask me this question before I couldn't quite answer it. So what if someone typically doesn't eat grain, and they just like have more like a fruitarian, or just like a, they don't do grains with their diet, and so they don't do the paran by having grain. Is that still okay?
Well, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah, I didn't know the answer to that.
Can they take one grain? It only takes one grain. Like the Santi came around with, but then they weren't even fasting from grains the whole time. So what's the big deal if they don't take grains? That's a very good question. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, like the Santi walked around with one rice, a hard rice, from that was given by Srila Bharati Maharaj, just came from Lord Jagannath. Is that right, Santi?
Could they take Charanamrit?
Could they
break with Charanamrit?
But what did they fast on? Did they fast on nothing?
Or just like they just have
A
fruit.
normal day? That would be a normal day.
That would just be what they would eat on a
Anyway,
Yeah,
so there's no austerity.
Yeah.
Let me ask Mother Maharaj that because
I mean, they kind of already have like a Ekadasi.
it's just their normal day.
Eating like, for example, like a fruitarian, for example, right? They would just eat fruit all day. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's a good question for him. People ask you that because they're fruitarians or?
I've had some people ask me just for the sake of asking me, and I was like,
I see. Okay, I'll ask. Or they just eat fruits and vegetables.
yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a non-Ekadasi question?
Yeah.
When the Mool mantra that we have for Giraj, Clean Govardhanaya Swaha, I've noticed that for other residents, like at Brindavid's Om Tulsaye Namaha, Om Purnamase Namaha, Om Sarvasati Yo Namaha.
You mean when you make an offering?
Yeah, the clean Beej mantra seems to be, in my clean Krishnaya Swaha, clean Govardhanaya Swaha, seems to be like Krishna Tattva. So should we be saying, are we saying is clean Govardhanaya Swaha the mood of worshipping Giraj as Radha Krishna combined? Would it be more proper for us to say Om? Because we're worshipping him as Haridasa Varya.
When do you do that?
When offering him
No, I mean, when do you say Purnamasi and Sarvasakhiva?
offering them the
Brahmas?
Mhm.
Okay. I didn't know it was green. Is that what it says in the book?
In the book it says the mantra is clean. Clean Gokuranaya Swami.
Can you show me that later?
Sure.
Okay.
Guys, another question?
Yeah, we have 2 minutes left.
Okay. Oh, wait, anyway. Uh, the mood of the Devadasis in Orissa, is that, are they Braj Gopis, or are they, I mean, they're married to Jagannath, and he's in work, are they the mood of the queens? Do you know? Do you think Srila Bhaktivinoda
You can ask him that.
I asked her about it, and she wasn't totally sure. She mentioned that there's at least clearly like some sort of swakya because they're married. But when you see the video, I mean, like they're very, like they have veils and they're dressed similar to Radharani, so I didn't know if that meant that they were. I don't know if that's how clean dresses or how.
You can ask him.
Okay.
You found what?
The quote about, I'll just read it.
Loud and the mic close to you.
In the Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami.
This is Prabhupada's
This is
purport.
Prabhupada's purport, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 15. In the Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is a quotation from the Skanda Purana admonishing that a person who eats grains on Ekadasi becomes a murderer of his mother, father, brother, and spiritual master. And even if he is elevated to a Vaikuntha planet, he falls down. Yeah.
That's how important today is. Best if you're healthy enough, if you observe Nirjal, and if not, like Gurudev was making fun of the devotees, he said, okay, it's Ekadasi, so now I'll take rubbery, the sweet, and then a half hour later I'll take choose, and a half hour later I'll take. He said, that's not Ekadasi. Ekadasi also means staying up all night and chanting. Means full Ekadasi.
He also says, from the very beginning of his childhood life, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the system of observing a fast on the Ekadasi day.
The story of Hiranya.
I'm not sure, but it has something to do with you speaking to Sachi.
Yeah. What did he say to her?
I don't know, I can think of the
He asked
verses.
her if she could please observe Ekadashi,
Right.
and she said, okay.
Yeah, but I want to hear a little more details.
One day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down at the feet of his mother and requested her to give him one thing in charity. His mother replied, "My dear son, I will give you whatever you ask." Then the Lord said, "My dear mother, please do not eat grains on the Ekadasi day." That was the verse Prabhupada mentions. Mother Sachi said, "You have spoken very nicely. I shall not eat grains on Ekadasi." From that day, she began to observe fasting on Ekadasi.
Good. All right, so now it's 9:31. And now Vasanti will do the next part of the program, which is a 5-minute. What's everybody doing today? You want to come forward, Vasanti?
Can somebody end the live streams?
Yeah.
I have one quick question.
Yes.
Oh, but
I'm
are
not
there,
doing that part.
are there exceptions to? I mean, there aren't, but I've heard that some Maharajas maybe like they don't follow Ekadasi because they like traveling. Is that
Maharajas?
or just like is that a thing where it's like if you're traveling, there's like kind of some leeway?
Gurudev was asked not is there a leeway, but because there's a time change. Sometimes the day change. If you're on the plane, then do one or the other. But there's no question of leeway.
Okay.
No, ever. I don't know where you could have
That
possibly.
might have been it or something. That might have been it.
Vasanti, please come forward. Ekadasi Brat Ki Jai. Ekadasi Brat Palan Kodi Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Do you know what that means? Ekadasi Brat Palan Kodi.
The people who are doing it.
Yeah, doing it. Observing it. Nourishing it. Palan Kodi. All glories to the observers of Ekadasi. Okay, see you.
Say someone